Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show
on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
Thank you for joining us, folks. One of our power talkers, the man with a plan, Dr. Claude Anderson, is going to join us. He's going to tell us how we should evaluate the candidates in the upcoming presidential elections. GOP hopeful Donald Trump is leading the Republican race with a lot of support from the black community on one issue. We'll discuss that issue with Dr. Anderson. Before we get to Dr. Anderson, though, motivational speaker and businessman James Hickman will join us. Mr. Hickman is going to be Radio 1's Black History Month special person for 2016. So you're going to hear quite a bit about James Hickman and his start and how he got into business as well. But I got to tell you about Dr. Anderson. His latest book is called Powernomics, and I got it in front of me right now, The National Plan to Empower Black America. And Dr. Anderson wrote this book after writing the book Black Labor, White Wealth. Now, Black Labor, White Wealth tells us how we got into the situation that we're into right now. If you look around any metric on any black community, any black country, anywhere on this planet, we're at the bottom of the barrel. And if it's high school dropout, teen pregnancy, kidney disease, all of that, we're at the very bottom of the barrel. So Dr. Anderson explains how we got there. It wasn't by accident. It was by design. So, and that book tells us, is the book Powernomics, which she's going to talk about, tells us how to get out of that. So he's going to explain that to us. And one of the things in Powernomics he's going to talk about too is, what some of the ways that we can figure out to do that. So that's, Dr. Claude Anderson coming up. I call him the man with a plan because he's the only one who's got a plan that's strictly for black folks, strictly for African Americans. He's not inviting anybody else to the party, and he's doing it. And he says it's not racism. It's sort of a race first philosophy, like Marcus Garvey. But what he does, he says we've got to take care of home first before we can take care of anybody else. Nobody else is invited to the party but him. He's got a think tank. I can't speak this morning. Think tank, the Harvest Institute. And their job is to go out and research and do facts and find out how we can improve life better for blacks. And that's what it does. And I think it's the only one in the country. If there's one out there that's anybody knows another think tank that's specifically for blacks, just let us know. But that's the Harvest Institute. He'll tell us about that as well. He's written to President Obama about, his plans to help black America, and because the president, when he got into office, vowed to help the middle class. But people are still waiting for the president to come with a plan just to, help black folks specifically. Well, this is what Dr. Anderson does. And I mentioned his book, Powernomics. The book Powernomics tells us how to get out of the situation that we're in. Because right now we're heading to become a permanent underclass. You heard it here, a permanent underclass. Dr. Anderson's been saying these things for quite some time. I mean, he said that by 2013, if we didn't get our act together, Hispanics would pass us, the Asians would pass us, and we'd just be a permanent underclass, and basically would be in that concentrated camp of useless eaters. Nobody wants us. We wouldn't have any leverage on anything. But he says now we do have some leverage, and this might be our last shot, folks. So we've got to listen to Dr. Anderson. He's got five degrees. He's worked in the Carter administration. He's worked in the administration in Florida. I think it was Reuben Askew, the governor of Florida. In fact, Dr. Anderson was the one who wrote the first affirmative action plan, regulation. It wasn't a law, it was a regulation, and it was for the state of Florida, specifically because the blacks in Miami Beach, we had a bunch of ladies who worked in those hotels in Miami Beach, and they would, and after the influx of the Cubans from the boat lift, they were getting those jobs. And one of the things they did, they wanted everybody to speak Spanish. And you had these elderly ladies who've been on the jobs 30, 40 years, spoke English, and that was their livelihood. And now they were told they had to learn Spanish, or else they were going to lose their jobs. So Doc Anderson came to their rescue and wrote the affirmative action plan. And the Cubans turned around and used it, because then they got together and moved in numbers, not to just require government jobs, but they started first with the employees that they for their businesses, and then once they got elected into office, and I think Dr. Anderson will tell us about how it works, because they followed his letter to the T. And once they got in office, they changed the laws. They changed the regulations. They says, hey, you have to speak Spanish if you want to work in these various cities. Hialeah, for one of the big cities with a huge Hispanic concentration. Started with the Cuban, and it spread out to all over Dade County. But that's what Dr. Anderson did, and then others picked it up around the country and started using, gave the name affirmative action, and then started trying to implement it. But it wasn't written for anybody. It was written specifically for blacks, especially for those black women who labored in those hotels on Miami Beach. But anyway, he's going to be here to talk about that. But right now we have Mr. James Hickman with us. Mr. Hickman, welcome to WOL Radio.
Good morning.
Good to have you. And let me just tell folks, James Hickman is going to be Radio 1's Black History Month special person for 2016. Mr. Hickman, you're a business consultant, a motivational speaker, but it didn't start out like that for us. How did it start out? Why don't you tell the listeners?
Well, how it started out is I couldn't keep on going through this no more. And I went to prison.
When you mean going through this, what do you mean?
Well, I couldn't keep on going in and out of trouble, in and out of prison, and being on drugs, being homeless. And I had to wake up, and, I know there's a better life out there, and I had to work hard and go forward.
So what did you do?
So, first of all, I liked it. While I was in school, as far as I went through school was third grade. So it was always the problem because I couldn't read back then. And I always wanted to go to school. So I went through a whole life from juvenile prison to mental institutions to adult prison. And I started writing. And I feel like it was a need to certain things I need to put out there and that I couldn't go to the stores and get. So I said, let me start writing a book. And now, I'm 15 books later.
And that first book, what was that first book about?
The first book was called Official Contact Pages to the Music Industry. Because I moved to Atlanta after I got out of prison. I was in prison in Iowa. So when I got to Atlanta, I went to Alabama first for like 6 months. Then I came to Atlanta, and I see a lot of people in the music industry. The time was booming. The South was hot. And but there was a lot of information that a lot of people didn't know, so I put a book together called Official Contact Pages to the Music Industry. That's like the yellow pages to the music industry. So I put everything in this book that a person, questions that I want to ask. So I put that in the book, stuff that I was looking for, and it took off, my first book. And
then where did you go from there?
Well, I stuck around in the music industry doing a lot of writing. Then I jumped into novels. And my first novel took off. The name of the book called Do You Really Know Your Man? I wrote that book when a woman fed up, out of the game, what people do for money, only God can judge you, no good baby daddy, and books how to get into the publishing industry.
Wait, hold on a second. Now, you're talking about a person with a third grade education. By that time you've written those books. How did you get the training?
I never had no training. I thank God every day. Never had no training because people never give you information on stuff that you really needed. So I worked hard, and that ain't, from the book industry, it took me from there, from writing books to open up bookstores.
And your first bookstore was where?
Here in Atlanta, in College Park, and I ended up having 6 bookstores.
Wow. Hang on a second, Mr. Hickman. We're going to take a break here for traffic and weather together. And when we come back, we want to hear more of your stories. I mentioned he's a motivational speaker, and you heard he started from humble beginnings. You can join the conversation with Mr. Hickman. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. We'll take your calls next. It's a big show. Rolls on from 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning, WOL traffic brought to you by Food Lion. We are starting with a closure in the district. Water main break repairs. North Capitol Street shut down both directions between Missouri Avenue and Riggs Road at that New Hampshire Avenue Northeast intersection. Major intersection, and of course we will see major delays throughout the morning. Meantime, Connecticut Avenue with the closure just past the Beltway between Knowles Avenue and Baltimore Street. Truck accident with wires down across the roadway. Stay on budget without sacrificing quality with Food Lion brand products. They're affordable and easy to trust with a double your money back guarantee. Life's better with the Lion. Food Lion. The WOL forecast today partly cloudy, a 20% chance of storms later today. Overnight thunderstorms with a low of 72. We are at 75 degrees. This report brought to you by the American Association for Cancer Research. Finding cures together. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org. I'm Angela Foster, News Talk 1450 WOLAM, where information is power.
This is a special news alert to consumers who owe back taxes to the IRS.
Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers on back taxes, resulting in back taxes reduced by thousands of dollars. An open phone line has been established by Federal Tax Relief for consumers to call and see if you qualify for this reduction. To ensure your financial stability during this decline in the economy, take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call 1-800-210-1493. That's 1-800-210-1493. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, there's no need to fear anymore. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers, resulting in tax debts reduced by thousands of dollars. Free information and to see if you qualify for your reduction, call the Federal Tax Relief Hotline, 1-800-210-1493, 1-800-210-1493. That's 1-800-210-1493.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today?
The only thing I didn't learn?
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Carl Nelson live and local from 6 to 10 a.m. on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for staying with us and our guest, motivational speaker. His name is James Hickman out of the Atlanta area. And before we left for the traffic update, you were telling us that you if after a troubled childhood that saw you in and out of prison and jails and other places, you started publishing books. And your first book, and then you opened a bookstore. Okay, let's continue the story with the bookstore.
Well, I got to start writing books. So once I started writing books, I ended up getting into the bookstore. So I started going around the beauty salons, barbershops, and all that, selling my books and being in places that need my book. So then I like that, everybody was, asking, "Oh, do you have a store? Do you have a store?" I am getting a store. And for people to come in and, get the information and books and stuff like that. And one thing about me, my bookstore, I kept all my books half price, affordable for people to read and get into about. The more you know, the more you can do. And I didn't figure out to later on in life and all that. If you read, it's going to open up doors, open up your brain, your mind to different things. So I always wanted to be a venturous and put that type of information out there. So everything I do is try to help people. And
how was it? When did the light bulb turn on that you figured from a guy who dropped out in the 3rd grade that reading could take his places? What was it? Was there one significant event, or was it just a gradual thing?
No, it was a gradual. It was both. I caught a case, and I could go back to prison on, and I was like, man, I can't keep on going back. Trying to get things right. I can't keep on. So that's when my change. I was in jail, and I wrote my first book while I was in jail. I wrote it, and did the best I can until I got it out. And once I got the book, my first book, I got picked up by Barnes and Noble. It's called Official Contact Pages to the Music Industry. And that book went all over. About every radio station, A&R, everybody had that book. And one thing about it, I was a kind of different bookseller than anybody else because I bring it to you. I love what I did, and I put passion into it.
Now, that first book that started it for you, what made you do that book? Because you could have selected any other topic. Why was that topic the one that you selected?
Well, because the music industry, I used to read up on a lot of people getting bad deals and stuff like that. Reading contracts like, from Gap Band, a lot of people, period, was taking bad deals. So that ain't it. I wrote the Music Industry Dictionary, which made it in the Guinness Book of World Records 2007 too. It was a dictionary so people could know the terminology of the music industry. A lot of people, okay, I got this deal and all that, but they don't know the business side of it. So I put the dictionary out there for people to know the business side of it,
Right. It is a crazy business at that. But did any of the artists ever contact you after reading the book?
Oh, yes. They still contact me over the books and ask me when I'm putting another one out. We need you back into the music industry, and I got a big major deal off your book, and all kind of beautiful things. Every day I'm out in the field, people ask me about my books and stuff every day.
Were any of them generous since they got big deals made off you? What the information did they say, hey man, I'm gonna kick you down something? Did that ever happen?
Nah, that ain't never happened. I just wasn't for them just to pass the information on to another brother and sister and all that to give them some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
All right. Hey, so you start with the music book. Then where did you go after that? Now you've got your bookstores, you've got your books out, especially the one with music that's selling. But you did other books, not just a book about music.
Right. Okay. And now I'm gonna tell you the funniest thing. What happened in 2008? Started in 2007 when President Barack Obama started running for president at the time. Everybody watching TV, watching our president and stuff like that. And information, and I got into the history, African American history. So a lot of our own people didn't know this information and stuff like that, I couldn't ask a lot of people questions because they couldn't give me an answer. So I started researching, and I took this up. And this is my livelihood right now, African American history studies and stuff like that, and business. I started putting calendars out. I had a vision to put information on history through a calendar on little squares all through my calendars. My first calendar I put out, it went viral. It came out a day before the election. And I'm the one that did the first Barack Obama calendar in the country, the very first one. And it blew up so big, it was the highlight at the inauguration of the year. 2008 coming in 2009, I had the #1 calendar.
Now, tell us what's on the cover of that calendar in case some folks have that calendar and they don't know that you're the man behind it.
Right. On the front of the calendar, the name of the calendar called Been a Long Time Coming. You see the civil rights movement up under the calendar, and on the front of the calendar, you see President Barack Obama, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey. On the front calendar, it says, been a long time coming.
Now, how did you come up with that concept?
Well, sitting there listening to the music, and, it's been a long time coming, because we always just sit around and talk like, man, it probably will never be a black president in our lifetime and stuff like that, But it happened. Everybody used to say that same thing. We sat around, oh, man, there will never be no black president, probably not in our time, and it happened. And that moment right there, I've been rocking ever since.
All right. Then you started doing the calendars. What else are you working on? I know you're working on some other stuff other than just calendars. Before you do before we go into the other area, in these calendars, you featured people as well. You featured. Can you tell us about some of the people that are featured in the calendars?
Yeah, in the calendar, I feature a lot of African American histories from the past into the future into now, and I pick a lot of people, and a lot of people get voted into my calendar. So everybody like from Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, to Frederick Douglass, to Al Sharpton, to Kathy Hughes, everybody, and I put their bios inside the calendar so you can read about that person. So like when a person want to do a report or something like that, everything broke down. See, one thing about these calendars, these ain't regular calendars. I took calendars to a whole different level. So the level is so great for the calendars that kids and everybody is like sponges. And this calendar circulate all around the country and out of the country.
All right, and you're working on other things, not just the calendars. What else are you working on? Because you're a man of many facets, and I'm trying to get the essence of you on the radio. Because for a guy who dropped out in the third grade, you've got some major accomplishments that other people who with PhDs have still not achieved what you've achieved in such a short period of time.
And I'm a filmmaker too. I do documentaries. I got 6 documentaries out right now. I got a latest documentary right now that's just coming out called Homeless in America. And this is about part 3, and I do the homeless documentary down here in Atlanta, New Orleans, and I go around the country filming, and letting people's stories and stuff like that. Put their stories out there on an outlet. And I took a toll to, homeless, because I've been homeless before. And I know how it is. People treat you like you got a disease and stuff like that because you fell off. You might got into drugs or whatever got you homeless and all that, but hey, you could bounce back. So I sit there mentor to all the homeless people around here, have big crowds and talk to them. Treat them like, because they regular people, they're just like me. And I got a passion.
All right, hold that thought right there, because we want to talk about the homeless too, because because they don't have a voice, and I'm glad that you did that documentary to give them that voice. I want to talk about some of the folks that you met doing this documentary. Folks, you too can join this conversation with James Hickman, 17 after the hour. We'll take phone calls at 800-450-7876. Next, as the big show rolls on from 1450 WOL, where information is power.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today?
The only thing I didn't learn?
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s 1450.
1450 WOL Radio.
And we're back again. Thank you for staying with us. James Hickman, he's a business consultant, a businessman, and a motivational speaker. Coming from humble beginnings, folks. As you mentioned, he just got a third grade education, but yet he's a very successful businessman in the Atlanta area. Mr. Hickman, you went and did, you got a publishing empires, as so to speak, and you also now doing documentaries. Tell us about the documentaries that you did with the homeless.
Well, this is my third documentary on homeless. It's called Homeless in America. That's the name of the documentary. And I take people's lives that I, talk to, because before I started shooting documentaries, I was interacting with the homeless people. I'm down there because I had a store down there, downtown Atlanta, like Auburn Avenue area. And I sit there and talk to people. And, I wanted to know, how did you fall into the situation? And how can I help you get out of it? So a lot of people that I used to mentor and talk to, they came up out of it. They came up out of it. A lot of the homeless people down there right now, I was at the time joining a family reunion this weekend. One of the ladies walked up to me. She was a vendor there. She said, when I was hungry, you gave me a hot dog. You gave me some hot dogs and told me to come back and get as much as I can. And she said, I always wanted to find you, and I remember that. And there's another guy named Big Mouth Ben, sleeping up on the bridge for 7 years on that same street, Auburn Avenue. And he went from hearing my story, from talking to it, and got straight and got one of a convenience store, gift store, and everything, and just got married, beautiful wife and everything, and came up, and all the homeless people deal with him and hear his story. And he went from sleeping up on the bridge for 7 years to hearing a story, and now successful on the same street that he slept on, the same exact street.
Hanging out with the homeless, is there any common thread, one denominator that you found out that the homeless people fall into that trap?
Well, a lot of them is just it can fall into a middle stage. It's like one of the guys, Ben, he fell into a stage and got mental and all that. But once he came up out of that, he's no longer mental no more. He's successful and all that stuff just disappeared. Once he got his, confidence back, that I could do this. And he shows everybody else down there that, hey, you could do this. You just got to sit back in life and things happen. God put you through changes and stuff like that. But to make it up out of there, and that's what we do, sit there and to make it up out of there and teach people every day. We go and teach education to people. I'm just like a street educator. That's what I do. Most of my products and stuff is sold on the streets all around the country. On the streets with no stores no more. And I know how to do all the store business and all that. I just figured out the business and education and stuff like that, and the platform and all that. I'm putting this stuff out there. I'm like, hey, I don't need a lot of the big giant stores to take most of everything I got. I know how to do this myself. I learned the business over the years and years. So now I give that information to a person, and I wrote a nice book. I'm going to tell you about the book when we get done.
All right. 800-450-7876, a motivational speaker. James Hickman, as you mentioned, came from very humble beginnings, and now has got his hands in a lot of different areas that he's making money. As you mentioned, doing a documentary. I know he's got a game show that he's working on, and he's also got books. He's got a publishing empire that he started. And I got to ask a question, though, back again with the homeless folks. Because you went down there because you were homeless yourself. Is that what drew you to the homeless people and drew you to doing this documentary? You wanted to tell their story, or was it something else?
Well, that was one of the reasons right there. To do the story, because I was homeless too, and the same people. I was that person. I was the same person that they was. So I could look at them and be looking at myself like I'm looking in the mirror. So I even wrote a book called Only God Can Judge Me. And I know how they treat homeless people. They treat them like they got a disease, like they don't belong on this earth and nothing like that. And I knew I could use my power to go in and be like, hey, fight the bullies. A voice, because I'm self-employed, so you can't fire me. And so I knew that. So, and I used to sit there and help people to get back, and they can't use the bathroom and stuff like that. So that was kind of annoying me. Like, hey, imagine they have to use it outside because people either gonna come in their establishments and steal stuff. And I'm like, okay, this ain't right, because they wouldn't like they was born homeless. Something happened. All different type of reasons, you know. Like they say, you're 2 weeks from being homeless. Anybody. And I let people know there's a lot of different aspects of homeless people. You don't always have to be creeping up on the bridge to be homeless. If you're staying at somebody's house, your name ain't on that lease, you don't got no key to the house, you homeless. And I let people know there's a lot of different faces to homelessness.
How much in your life has religion played a part? Are you a religious person? Do you go to church? You go to the mosque, the temple?
Yes, I do. I'm a religious person. You know, like I was telling you, I thank God every day for giving me a chance to put on my robe and tell my story, how I got a chance to make it over. Because I was through to the wayside. I was a dope fiend for years. My favorite drug of choice was cocaine. I robbed people. I did everything you could think of. You know, and I got another chance. Another chance. You know, the people that know me around there, they see how my life was. And they see it. And I worked hard to get what I had to get to. And by any means necessary, and, you know, I got turned down, rejected from here to here. Nobody would pick the person up, so I just went hard. You know, I know I had a better calling. And I got, you know, hooked into the history stuff, and now the history is a part of my life. I did it out of hobby, but now I got to do it every year, every day, because people depend on me putting this information out there. So that's my job right there, dedicated to it.
Yeah, but were you ever tempted to slide back into that life? Did you ever like, wow, I could make more money slinging. You know, I could back out in the streets. You know, did temptation ever stare you in the face?
Well, temptation always stare a person in the face. But I know what's back there. I've been to prison before, so I wasn't happy up in there. So I'm not trying to fall back into it, because the reason I never fall back into it, because that money, how you get that money, how it gonna go. All the drug money I made before in life, I don't got nothing to show for it. Not one TV, no nothing. It just disappeared. Just like putting 10 socks into the dryer and coming back out as 9. It just disappeared. So it didn't work for it. So I figured a way that I could do positive things and don't have to watch around my back and stuff like that, you know. And I feel good what I'm doing. You know, every time I sell a calendar or history education, I feel good that I'm each one teach one and then passing to another person. And, you know, selling history and putting history out there, that ain't no easy job. That's no easy. And I tell people every day, you know, it ain't easy. So I got to make everything a formal, very educational, and try to get this information in there, you know. This ain't the type of information that all the schools are going to buy and stuff like that, which they should. Because this is our history and this is our information. We putting this out there and let people, and one thing about the information is build you up, be like, hey, I could do this. Ain't nothing impossible.
Wow. So when you see our young people doing what you were doing, when you were probably their age, what'd you say to them?
When I know how to go look back. When I was their age, I was wild and rowdy. I was wild and rowdy. We didn't have nobody to talk to us, you know, back then, you know. They showed us how to sell drugs and stuff like that, but now...
Well, hold that story right there, because we want to get into the dysfunctional that started, because you're saying you didn't have anybody to guide you, any guidance and teach you. That's why you fell into the drug game and went to prison and all of that. We want to hear that story. But first, we got to step aside for a news update. Folks, you too can get in this conversation. You got a question for James Hickman. That's his name. Call us at 800-450-7876. Again, that's 800-450-7876. Your calls after this news report on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
This report brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. Commitment, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. A College Park woman is one of 2 people killed by police in Virginia Beach on Saturday night. The 28-year-old India Kager and Angelo Perry of Virginia Beach were shot and killed by officers who say someone in the couple's car began shooting at them. Police say they were acting on information about a person of interest in a homicide investigation when they approached the car outside a 7-Eleven. Former Maryland Episcopal Bishop Heather Cook pleaded guilty in a hit-and-run crash that killed a man on a bicycle in Baltimore town Palermo. The victim's sister-in-law, Alyssa Rock, spoke after yesterday's court hearing.
We hope that one day Bishop Cook can truly grasp the enormity of the loss that her reckless behavior caused for Tom and my sister, their young children, our family, his parents, friends, and our community.
She admitted to vehicular manslaughter, DUI, texting while driving, and leaving the scene of the crash last December. Cook could get 10 years in prison when she's sentenced next month. No charges will be filed in Northern Virginia in the death of a mentally ill inmate.
It is my legal opinion that no deputy involved in this incident is in any way criminally responsible for the death of Natasha McKenna.
Fairfax County's Chief Prosecutor Ray Morrow. McKenna was said to have fought with deputies at the county jails. They tried to move her out of a cell. She stopped breathing after being placed in restraints and a mask, and then was tasered 4 times and died a few days later at a hospital. McKenna was being transferred to Alexandria, where she was charged with assaulting a police officer. Expect delays on Metro with track work during the workday this week. It means single tracking in 20 to 25 minutes between trains. This report brought to you by Enroll America and the Ad Council. Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, maternity care, preventative care, and more. Visit getcoveredamerica.org. I'm John Lewis. When you're looking for news from Black America, go to newsone.com.
Good morning. WOL traffic brought to you by Horseshoe Casino, Baltimore. Traveling northbound Branch Avenue as you head into Clinton, we've got a closure. Right lane is shut down. As you approach Surratt's Road, got a stalled dump truck distracting traffic flow through that region. We've also got a closure in the district North Capitol Street between Riggs Road and Missouri Avenue at New Hampshire Avenue. Water main break repairs. Horseshoe Baltimore, activate your daily free entry for the ultimate jackpot drawings. Know when to stop before you start, though. Please play responsibly, and for help, visit m-dgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. The WOL forecast for today: partly cloudy, high 93 degrees. Overnight chance of thunderstorms with a low of 72 degrees. We're at 75 degrees in the nation's capital. This report brought to you by Destination Gettysburg. Plan a delicious weekend in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Enjoy a craft brew tasting. Stop by the farms market. Take a food tour, winery tour, or a battlefield tour. Visit destination-gettysburg.com. I'm Angela Foster, News Talk 1450 WOL AM, where information is power.
Real talk radio in the AM.
The #1 morning show. #1 on everybody list.
Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for staying with us. I guess he's motivational speaker and businessman. His name is James Hickman. He's actually going to be Radio 1's Black History Month special person for 2016. It's got an extraordinary story. Let's go back, Mr. Hickman, when you said you were growing up, that there was... Tell us about growing up, because you said that you had no one to really guide you and show you.
No, I never had nobody at all, because a lot of the people, like the family members, they didn't know. So if they didn't know, how can they teach me? And
so the family household, was it a traditional family household, mother and father, brothers and sisters? Was the setup?
Well, it included me as 5 boys. And my mom and dad was married, but they got, a divorce. He was in the household, and I just couldn't catch on like the other kids and stuff like that. I had a reading disorder as a kid, so I went through a lot of different behaviors and stuff like that. I used to act out, because I couldn't read. And there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, but at the time when you were acting out, did you know you were acting out because you couldn't read? That was a defense mechanism. Because you couldn't read, you were trying to cover up the fact that you couldn't read? Yes, that was a factor right there. Yeah, but at the time when you were doing it, did you know that was the reason why you were doing it, or you were just doing it, sort of on automatically?
Well, I was doing it on purpose. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, I know you knew what you're doing, but did you know why you were doing it? That's the question.
Well, the reason why I was doing it because I couldn't read. I couldn't read.
And so that started in school. In what grade were you acting out?
Kindergarten. It started at the age of kindergarten. They had me on medication at the age of 5. At the age of 5, because they back then they had an ADD or whatever. It was just called hyperactive. Or you just bad. One of them 2 words. Right, but was it attention deficit disorder? Did you have that, or was the fact that nobody really taught you how to read, or did you have a learning disorder? I had a learning disorder.
And when was that diagnosed?
It was diagnosed at an early age, at 5 years old.
And then what happened after they figured out that this is why you're acting out? What happened?
You know, being in special classes, and I got put out of the system. You know, went to 4th grade and in and out of the little juvenile, and in the state of Illinois just got tired of me and be like, hey, the county I was in, be like, hey, group homes, mental institutions all my life, so I got into adult life, then from adult life into prison. And a lot
so in high school, if you don't mind, what was the worst thing you did? What was the worst thing that got you put out? Because, you know, when you say you don't make the 3rd grade because you got put out of school, I'm just wondering what a 3rd grader could do that got put out of school.
I stabbed a truant officer.
Yeah, that gets you put out. That gets you put out. Wow.
And I got put out from there, and the tutoring, you know, they didn't, you know, they came past an hour a day, you know, if they even came. You know, and just like that, and went through the life, and they kept on shipping me around the group home, you know, and people always ask this question right here: where was your mom at and dad at? They was there, but it was 4 other kids in the house. And mom did her best. It's just as me at the time. It's just as me. So now I look back on it and be like, man, I really stressed my mama out. I took years off my mama's life. I stressing her out like this and all that, you know. And I'm going through that. Never got a chance to have a childhood. Like most kids used to go on field trips and stuff like that. I ain't got a chance to do none of that. You know, didn't know what the inside of high school when I used to sneak in there. That's about all. And I always wanted to go to school. Always wanted to school. So when I got later on in life and started getting straight in life, I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back to the educational system. And I turned myself into a street education. And it opened up doing stuff that people thought I couldn't do, is that I was never even supposed to even made it this far. Supposed to probably be in prison for the rest of my life. But now I bounce back and I let everybody else know that they can do this too. Everybody out there got a different thing that they could do. Everybody is different and got a skill. So I let people know that, hey, just bring out what you got in you. Find yourself. Find your niche.
So, but how did you find your niche? Because you said you started reading when you were in prison, right? And that's when you got into the publishing thing. You got a 3rd grade education, but you went on. What kept you going to take? Every time it seems like you reached a hurdle, you jumped over it, and you kept going and kept going. What kept you going? I'm trying to get to the essence of what kept you going.
Well, what kept me going is you know, I love doing different things and saying, okay, I did that right there. I conquered the music industry. Okay, I got into the novels and stuff like that, and just keep on conquering. I let people know that, hey, ain't nothing impossible. You can do this. You could do this, and I'm still not no great reader at all. And people ask me questions all the time. Well, if you're a great reader, how do you write? I could think. I think the situations out. If I could see it, I could believe it, I could do it. And I look at it just like, because I walk up in a big store like Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that, I see all these books, so what makes me different? If they could do this, I could do this. And I can even do it better. So that's my MO right there, that, hey, you could do this.
Now you talk to young people all the time. What do you tell them? When you tell them your story, what do they say?
Well, a lot of them be like, oh, wow, you know, and I tell them, you know, you got to be humble. And I tell them, I don't sugarcoat nothing with them youngsters at all. Be like, hey, this happened to you, you're going to jail. You know, just like that, you're going to jail, and I ain't going to sugarcoat nothing.
Now, but you know, some of these young people, Mr. Hickman, jail is just like going to grad school or going to college for them. That's not a deterrent.
No, and you're right. You're right. But what would I say to a youngster? I tell them just like this, hey, you got a lot to live for. You got a lot to do. I mean, you could make a mistake just like that, And just like the ages of youngsters between 14 and 17, that's when they start getting a chance to feel themselves, to see who they are and all that. If you can catch them, you can't save everybody, but you can save people, period, just by talking to them. Let them know that, hey, man, you're a better person than this. You just sit down and talk. See, when I'm sitting down and talking, they sit there and listen. They don't be like, oh, man, I ain't paying no attention to this old man or whatever. No, they sit down and listen, because this is how I flip the strip with them. A lot of them want to eat, buy cars, do things and all that. I show them a different way how to do it without putting them in jail. I let them know that every one of y'all got a different skill, man. You might be good with your hands over here. You might fix bikes. And I tell them just like this, hey, try it for 30 days. You could go take a rake and a lawnmower and open your business just like that.
And if they say they can make more money slinging drugs than raking somebody's lawn or working at McDonald's, what do you tell them?
Well, I tell them like this. If you want to try to slang on drug, I let them just load it like that. I breaks it down for them.
All right, hold that thought there. We want to get the breakdown, but we got to step aside for a couple of announcements when we come back. Folks, you too can join this interesting conversation with James Hickman. He's a motivational speaker, came from a humble background, and now he's a successful businessman. Number to call to reach him is 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. Take your calls next on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
This is a special news alert to consumers who owe back taxes to the IRS.
Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers on back taxes, resulting in back taxes reduced by thousands of dollars. An open phone line has been established by Federal Tax Relief for consumers to call and see if you qualify for this reduction. To ensure your financial stability during this decline in the economy, take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call 1-800-210-1493. That's 1-800-210-1493. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, there's no need to fear anymore. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers, resulting in tax debts reduced by thousands of dollars. For your free information and to see if you qualify for your reduction, call the Federal Tax Relief Hotline, 1-800-210-1493, 1-800-210-1493. That's 1-800-210-1493.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
As I went through school, one giant question loomed over me. What did I want to be? But in order to know what I wanted to be, I had to first decide what I wanted to make. I wanted to make more. So I became a teacher. Now I make learning a privilege, not a chore. And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought, and unconventional methods common. I make material things less important, and little things like patience and kindness count. I make weekdays more exciting than weekends, and classrooms feel like anything but. I make things different, which is all I ever hoped for. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
You're Your voice can now be heard.
Y'all ready?
Yeah. With Carl Nelson weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for staying with us. And our guest is James Hickman, a motivational speaker out of the Atlanta area. And later on this morning, the man with a plan, one of our power talkers, Dr. Claude Anderson, is going to be here. Dr. Anderson's latest book called Powernomics, and he's actually working on another book. Hopefully, he'll tell us how far he's gone in editing that book. But the Powernomics book, The National Plan to Empower Black America, of course, the book Black Labor, White Wealth, tells us how we got into the situation that we're in. And folks, it's not by accident that the black folks anywhere on the planet, any country, any black person, any metric that you use, whether it be kidney disease, high school dropout, pregnancy rates, car accidents, whatever, we're at the bottom of the barrel. And there's a reason for it, and that book explains why. And his latest book, Powernomics, explains how we should get out of it. And he's always been preaching that by 2013, we don't get our act together, we're going to be a permanent underclass. So keep listening for Dr. Anderson. Call a friend, tell him he's going to be here later on. But right now, we're with James Hickman. And James, let me go back. Before we left for the break, you would tell us about what you tell young people. And because when you know, the incarceration thing for them now is a sort of a badge of honor. So what works? How do you reach them?
Well, this you know, you like you said, you can't reach everybody, but the people that you can reach, you let them know this what can happen. A lot of them, you know, that you could get life. See, I was in prison twice, and I was in there with kids 16 years old with life. They ain't never getting out, never ever, until they die. And I let the kids know, man, all y'all got a different skill. You could do, I mean, selling the drugs, it don't worth it. It ain't no money into it. You know, you spend this money, you just making a couple dollars to go buy yourself some Jordans and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people out there selling drugs, they don't got nothing. They really homeless. You know, because they just spending just to keep clothes and keep fashion and cars and stuff like that. And I let them know all this stuff gonna disappear. You know, somebody you gonna put it in somebody's name, they're gonna then taking your stuff. But every one of y'all got a different skill that y'all can do. You know, I even took one kid and showed him how, you know, he already knew how to do Facebook pages. So that's his business right now. He do Facebook pages for older people that can't do it themselves. And be like, man, this is easy and I'm making money off of this. In the same way, to like one of the guys I know when they got out of prison, and I be mentoring a lot of guys to get out, be like, hey, you don't got no problem. Once you go for one time, it's easy to go back. You know, keep them going back, like revolving doors and stuff like that, you know. So just try this, man. Just do right, man. You know, just do right. And one guy took this lawnmower. That's all he do. He got so many yards. He even got he used somebody's lawnmower. Now he got his own company by using somebody's lawnmower. And I tell you, this is the simplest thing, and just do it. And don't, you know, because they don't got no problem getting rid of you, disappear. And just like you said, it's more us in prison than we is in college and stuff like that. And I'm letting them just like your first case, they giving us felonies. Ralph the Rip, you know, for they could stop a lot of things right there. Stop you from getting guns, stop you from your education, stop you from getting this right off the rip. You 17, 18 years old, getting a felony, you sitting there copping out to something that you really ain't even did. And don't even know what you just did, copped out just to get out. And I just tell them, just try this. Try what you, and I came out with this book, by the way. It's called Motivation. It's over 500 different businesses in this book that you could open up under $1,000. Some of these businesses you could open up under $100. And it could be your own business. And I sit there and break it down and show you how to go get your business cards from Vistaprint, show you how to go get this, and show you how to go get your EIN. I mean, your business, you know, start your business. Start doing the neighborhood first. Be like, hey, how you doing, Miss Johnson? I'm just trying to make some money back to college. And just like the same thing with, you know, with college kids. I work along with them to try to keep them in college, but they don't get through there and get frustrated because they might not have, they got a free scholarship, but they don't got money to keep them in college. So I do fundraisers with them and show them how to make money off through a lot of my products that I do. And the product I sell is education, so we put our education back into our neighborhood. So everything I sell, put out there is education, nothing. I don't even write books on, you know, how to get girls and do all that. No, everything I do is business and education.
If you had it to do all over again, what would you change?
If I had everything if I do everything over again.
If you could start from the beginning again, aside from, I know you probably would have got kicked out of third grade, but what else would you have done differently?
Well, I would have took advantage of the school system and did what I had to do and take it up to a whole another level. I see how the school system is. If I would have went through the school, went through college and all that, I could see how far, I was like, wait, I would have been way farther than what I am now, or would I be doing what I'm doing now? So that's the catch right there. Be like, well, if I would have went through all this, went right and all that, would I be doing this right now? Probably wouldn't.
How much you think of this? What happened to you because you were a young black man? Did race play anything into the problems that you had?
You said grace?
Race, the color of your skin.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm from a small town over in Illinois. It's called Alton, Illinois. It's across the bridge from right there by Ferguson. I'm 15 minutes from Ferguson, so the town I grew up in is just like Ferguson a little bit. It's similar, like the twin cities and towns. So it was always, get walk and get stopped. Anything happen in the neighborhood, they used to come pick us up, stop us, put it in this car, all different type of things, Extra charges threw on you that didn't have them charges, all different types. And so I figured, but that was happening back then, and it's still happening now.
But you've succeeded, and you don't blame quote unquote the man for holding you down.
Nah, I don't blame the man for holding me down, because the reason I don't blame the man for holding me down, that man didn't put me in prison. He didn't put me in prison at all. I put myself in prison, And so a lot of people are like, well, the man did this to me. No, there's a lot of ways to survive and all that, without the man or whatever, But no, it took me years and years to figure out that the man didn't put me in that position and all that. He just helped force things. If you fall into his web, then a lot of things start happening. But as far as that, once I figured out that he can't hold me down and I don't need to have to come to him for no job and stuff like that, for a handout and stuff like that, life got better for me. So I'll be, looking for a job. No, we create jobs. You just open your door and look outside. There's jobs right there.
You think that's part of our problem as the people, that we are always looking for jobs instead of trying to figure out how to create jobs?
Yeah. And so that's the reason I came up with that book, Motivation, right there. For a person to look through that book right there, it broke down for any individual. The first 10 pages of the book explains a little bit about my life from the age of 5 until now. Then it get into business. Inside that book, everybody can fit something that they can do. And it could be just simple in a skill work, and it keeps you out of trouble and all that, because some people be sitting around having too much time on their hand. And you could take that time right there and turn it into a business. You don't have to wait for nobody to give you no job. The job is right out there. That's why I got this book as a visionary book. You look through this book, you be like, okay, I could do that right there. I could do that. Oh, I love DJing myself, little simple stuff like that they didn't know that it's a business. It's a million different ways out here to survive and stuff like that. Without, and I tell them just like that, the energy that you putting in trying to do a crime and stuff like that, that's the same energy that you can use if you do positive things. Tell the truth, doing a crime, you got to think even worse. You got to think a lot of ways to try to get away. So,
all right, hold that story right there, because we got to take a quick break for our traffic update for our folks in the DMV. We'll come back, we'll take some calls. We'll also have some more conversation with James Hickman. He's a business consultant. He's also a motivational speaker, and he's going to be Radio 1's Black History Month special person for 2016. He's also done some calendars, some Black History Month calendars. We'll talk about the calendars next as well, right here on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning, WOL Traffic, brought to you by WesternUnion.com's mobile app. George Washington Parkway crashed northbound, crashed southbound, same location between the CIA and Turkey Run Park. For folks traveling on the east side, inbound 50 already jammed from 410 to Kenilworth Avenue. We've got the closure on North Capitol Street, water main break repairs. We are shut down between Missouri Avenue and Riggs Road and New Hampshire Avenue Northeast. You might be stuck in traffic, but your money won't have to be. Send money around the world 24/7 with the Western Union mobile app. Next time you need to send money fast, skip the trip and tap the Western Union app. The WOL forecast for today, partly cloudy, chance of thunderstorms, high 93 degrees, overnight low 72 degrees, 75 degrees in Washington, D.C. This report brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. Winston Churchill's words stirred his country in the face of defeat. Today, they inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. I'm Angela Foster, News Talk 1450 WOL AM, where information is power.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today?
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
As I went through school, one giant question loomed over me. What did I want to be? But in order to know what I wanted to be, I had to first decide what I wanted to make. I wanted to make more. So I became a teacher. Now I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought, and unconventional methods common. I make material things less important, and little things like patience and kindness count. I make weekdays more exciting than weekends, and classrooms feel like anything but. I make things different, which is all I ever hoped for. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Did you know summer is the deadliest season on the roads for youth in the United States? Each May, youth across the country unite during Global Youth Traffic Safety Month to focus on preventing the leading cause of death for them and their peers, traffic-related crashes. Global Youth Traffic Safety Month empowers youth to lead traffic safety education projects to help protect teen drivers. Become a partner with National Organizations for Youth Safety today at noys.org.
WOL Washington, WPRS HD2 Waldorf, WKYS HD2 Washington, WMMJ HD2 Bethesda, a Radio 1 station, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show
on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
And thank you for staying with us, folks. Our guest is a business consultant and motivational speaker. His name is James Hickman. He's from the Atlanta area. You've probably seen one of his calendars out there. He's also doing some stuff for the upcoming march that Minister Farrakhan is having as well. And he got his start. And this is a gentleman who dropped out in the third grade. Got kicked out of school, spent time behind bars, spent a lot of time behind bars in his younger years. But now he's made it as a publisher. He also does documentaries. Got a game show in the works, and he just wants to get young people to understand that there is a better life out there. So we've got him on the phone with us and trying to figure out what he says that can resonate with some of our young people. Some of our young people are still trying to figure out their purpose in life. You figured out your purpose in life at a later date. I asked you earlier if religion played a part, but are you a church-going person? Are you a Bible-reading person, or the Quran? What do you do religiously?
Well, I read the Bible. I read it all the time. I even put a a devotional calendar out there called Our Father in Heaven. So I do a lot of reading, a lot of research to put inside of the calendar, but I do a lot of reading, and I go to churches, different churches all over. I do a lot of traveling, and I just stop and you invite me, I come. And I deal with a lot of churches on it because we do a lot of fundraisers with the churches through the calendars. And like you were saying earlier, the calendars, you probably seen one of my calendars before. I did that one, Keep the Dream, with the president and the first family on there. I did that one, went all around the world. And I got the #1 Black History calendars out there. So
you also did some stuff for the Million Man March as well. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, the Million Man March coming up October 10th. I need everybody to be there. I created a poster. And I never told you that I do posters. That's one of my new businesses that I do is posters. And my first poster I did was in December, that Hands Up, Black Lives Matter, which went viral, that poster. So now I'm into the posters and print business. The reason I got into that business was because I couldn't go to a regular store like Walmart and stuff like that and find posters and stuff like that and prints and stuff like that to represent us. Once you do find them, people will be real costly and it costs a lot. So I came up with that concept right there, to decorate your house and walls and stuff like that and stuff like this stuff we need for our kids and stuff like Black inventions. The president, W.B. Boers, Marcus Garvey, Black Wall Street, these posters and stuff like that. And I did the Million Man March one, and it comes out. And it's nice. It's a nice poster. Souvenirs.
Well, let me interrupt and ask you this, though. But to do those things, you have to know about the history of Black Wall Street. You have to know about Marcus Garvey and Du Bois and all the other icons in our history. So at what point did you say, let me study about them before I can tell people that I really know about them? I can put it on paper so people can see. At what point did that happen?
Well, that point came because by me owning the bookstore. All the stuff, all the information and stuff I was buying and getting and researching and all that. So I put all this stuff together all at one time, but I do a lot of research every day, and every day I find different history. Every day. And put stuff out there, just like Black Wall Street, for example. Tulsa, Oklahoma. I did that poster right there. And it's beautiful, and it took off. And a lot of people hear a little bit about Black Wall Street, and a lot of people might be 67 years old, 80 years old, and never even heard about it, period, at all. So I bring that information back out there to let people know that we could get together. Our money could circulate in our neighborhood, not for a couple minutes, like back in Black Wall Street, 30-some days it circulated. And we did business with each other and stuff like that. So it would be nice for us to get back doing business with each other, because a lot of people were saying well, I want to deal with the other man, he could do a better job. No, it ain't cost you a different color. You could do a better job. You could do that job. And a lot of people keep on forgetting that we built this country right here. Every capital you look around here in the United States and all that, we built everything. Every one of them capitals free. And,
yeah, but when you tell the young people that, what do they say? So because I know some young people that's not going to reach them at all. That's not going to resonate with them. What do you tell them to get them motivated?
Well, what I tell them to get motivated is that they could do anything that they want to do. Just stop this BS and go ahead and get straight. Listen to your parents, your mama, if you got one, listen to them. And just go ahead and do right. Don't put a lot of pressure and burden on them, because that's by yourself getting in trouble. You getting them in trouble and getting them stressed out with some stuff that you do. And just do what you're supposed to do. There's more life out there. There's a lot of life out there, You ain't gonna like this stuff behind bars and all that, You go one time, you think it's cool and all that. That's not cool, being locked up in jail that you can't do nothing. They tell you gotta get up 4 or 5 times a day for count. You gotta work for $1 a day, and you gotta spend that money back with the prison and stuff like that. And they just tell them, just do what you're here for to do. Everyone's got a skill, Just do that, And don't, give your mom a hard time, your dad a hard time, All the energy you putting in to be bad, it only take that much energy to do right. And I just say, do what you do. Do what you do, man.
Now, did you have a mentor? When you were going down the wrong path, did somebody pull you aside and say, hey, James, you should do this and not do that?
No, I ain't had that. I didn't have that at all right there.
So where did you get the moral compass from there? Where did you figure out that what is right and what is wrong? How did that come into play? When did you figure that out? That hey, what I'm doing is not working and it never will work. So I got to change.
Right, really about almost about 15 years ago almost. That's why I was telling you I was back in jail, and I said I can't keep on going through this no more. I can't keep on going. I got to come. I'm a better person in this. I got skills. I need to start using my skills, and that was the turning point right there. That I can't. They're gonna get rid of me. For the last, and I like it out here. And that was the turning point right there. And just start. Once I started doing positive things, a lot of associates and friends, they fell off because they wasn't doing the same thing I was doing. So they didn't want to be around me. I'm not doing what you're doing. So, and that's right there, just went and got myself together, Just like a lot of people might be around and youngsters and all that feel like they did a lot of bad things in their neighborhood and stuff like that. They claim, people ain't going to believe that they went straight. So people didn't believe me when I got out of prison. So when I got out of prison, I left. I left the state right there in that same day. I got out and got my life because they wasn't going to believe that, he did some years, so he probably straight. No. I went back and showed them that, hey, I'm a better man. And I went and disappeared and got by myself and just went through the ranks. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but it happened, every day, every day I put in good positive stuff and work and all that, and it paid off.
Is that the key? Is that the key? Because you said you removed yourself from the environment, and we know how much that friends can lead you down the wrong path, and that peer pressure that comes on you, especially with young people. Your friends are doing it, so you figure that you've got to do it just to hang with them. Was that the issue? And is that the issue for people now who are listening, who got children, who probably having some difficult times or incorrigible and trying to keep them straight? Would you advise them to move to another area or what?
Well, everybody can't move to another area. They got to be in that area because that's the only thing they can afford at the time, But they can make it. They can make a difference in their community if they sit down and listen, because there's a lot of work and stuff in your community. But for the kids going down the bad path, because some of the kids ain't no bad kids. They just hanging with the wrong crowd, and they got to do just like a lot of the kids smoke weed now. That's the big thing for the kids. It's like that's real big, and they got to take turns getting that weed. So some of the kids break in your houses and stuff like that. They do all kind of things, to try to to get that marijuana. And some of the kids run down that same wrong path, and they get that peer pressure to be like, okay, it's my turn to go get it. I can't go get money from mom no more. We already drained that account, and let's go do some crimes and stuff like that. And that's the first thing they do is crimes just to get high. See, kids ain't breaking and robbing just to go, to pay bills and stuff like that. No, none of that, just to get high. And I let people know, do this high really worth it? Let you know that you're a fiend now. You out here robbing people and stealing to get high now. You're a fiend.
So when you were out in the streets, what was your drug of choice?
Cocaine. Cocaine was my drug of choice.
And how did you get off that cold turkey? Was it because you were in prison, you couldn't get it, or what?
Well, no. You get it in prison. You get it in prison, it just costs you a little bit. You get anything in prison that you get on the streets. Anything. But now the turning point off in drugs was that, man, this is costing a lot, and I'm a better person in this. And it'd be 20 years in March that I've been cocaine free. 20 years, and I always wanted to get off of it. Before I even got on cocaine, they already told us, don't get high off your own supply. Don't sample this, don't taste it. And the person did. And that was my worst part of life right there, being on drugs every day. Every day, wake up, got to go have it, and did all kind of crazy things to get me life in prison and all that. But God gave me another chance to put on my robe and tell the story. He didn't send me away for life and stuff like that, because the things that I did on drugs and all that, a lot of the kids out there right now, I did so much right now. If I told you everything I did, you might get a headache or think I'm a crazy or a monster. But I got another chance. I got a chance to change this stuff around, and I did. I just asked for that chance, Let me make this back right. and I got a chance, and a lot of the people I did and robbed and stole and did things to it, I talk to them today. They calls me, they Facebook me and all that, and congratulate me and all that, you know. They're like, man, I robbed you and had you laid on the ground. You know, but they'd be like, hey, we ain't scared of you no more. That's what they told me. We ain't scared of you no more. You just like a butterfly now. And I used to be one of the most terrified person. I used to travel around the Midwest doing everything. Everything.
All right, hold that thought away, because we have a traffic report coming 9 minutes after the hour. I want you to tell us what it's like when you go meet somebody that you robbed and you come and their reaction to say that you're a changed man. 800-450-7876. Speak to James Hickman. He's a motivational speaker, folks, and he's also a very successful businessman. Taking calls for him after this news update on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning, WOL Traffic, brought to you this time by the American Association for Cancer Research. Suitland Parkway traffic inbound jammed early from Silver Hill Road to Stanton Road. We've also got slow traffic inbound 50 through New Carrollton from 410 to Kenilworth Avenue, and that disabled truck on Branch Avenue is actually southbound. We've got northbound volume delays. Southbound right lane is blocked as you approach Surratt's Road. The American Association for Cancer Research, finding cures together. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org. The WOL forecast for today: partly cloudy skies, a chance of thunderstorms, high 93 degrees. Chance of thunderstorms later tonight with a low of 72 degrees. We are at 75 degrees. This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Each day, more than 1.6 million Americans suffer with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help and find cures at ccfa.org. I'm Angela Foster. News Talk 1450 WOLAM, where information is power.
Hey, listen, next time you're hungry, stop by Tori's Restaurant. That's right, Northwest V Street and Georgia Avenue, right across the street from Howard University Hospital. Tori's Restaurant. Tori's Restaurant. Now, if you like good food, then this is where you need to be. Tori's Restaurant. They got breakfast all day, low country cuisine, also lump crab cakes, short ribs, and a whole lot more. And they got this daily special. Mondays, Ask the Chef Day. Wednesday, beef liver with onions and gravy. Thursday, meatloaf with gravy. Friday, fried whiting with hush puppies. 2 sides, bread, iced tea, lemonade, or mix. Ask about our catering service, too. Call ahead for carryout. 202-462-3700. Tori's Restaurant, 700 V Street at Georgia Avenue, Northwest D.C. Right in front of Howard University Hospital. That's Tori's Restaurant, 202-462-3700.
Business owners, did you know that summer is a great time to hire the best people? With your competitors on vacation, there's less competition for quality candidates. But posting your job in one place isn't enough to find them. And when you're short-staffed, there's no time to deal with the dozens of different job sites. Until now. Thanks to ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites with a single click. Just post once, and within 24 hours, watch your candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. Plus, be instantly matched to candidates from over 4 million resumes. ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses, and you can try it right now for free. Try ZipRecruiter and get your perfect candidate this summer before they go to somebody else. Today, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
Real Talk Radio in the AM. Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
And thank you, folks. Our guest is motivational speaker James Hickman. The number to call to speak to him is 800-450-7876, 13 minutes after the hour. I just want to remind you that coming up later on this morning, we're going to be speaking with a man with a plan. That's why I like to call him Dr. Claude Anderson. He's talking about his latest book, Powernomics, subtitled The National Plan to Empower Black America. 800-450-7876. James, back again, when you were getting high, and you said that you just stopped. You cold turkey, right?
Yeah, I cold turkey. It took I stopped a bunch of little times, and I'm going to stop this because I messed up the money and all that. And then I just stopped, just went straight cold turkey. Be like, hey, I can't do this no more.
Yeah, I got a tweet question for you, James. Somebody says you've written books, done several documentaries, but they want to know if you've done autobiography. Have you done the story of your life? Have you put that in print yet?
Well, I got a short bio in my new book called Motivation. The first 10 pages of the book talk a little bit about my life. And through my documentaries, I talk about my life, bio. I have different documentaries. I got one called From the Streets to Corbin, Life After Prison. Then I got one called The Making of a CEO. And they talks a little bit about, my life and all that, Rocky, how Rocky it was, growing up, not just growing up all the way into adulthood, and deep adulthood, into 30. So it didn't make that change quick and stuff like that. But when it happened, it happened, but a lot of people didn't believe me at the time, that you changed and nothing like that till they start seeing me putting out products and stuff like that.
They also want to know if you have a family. Do you have children? And if so, do they know about your past?
Yes, they do know about my past. I have four children, and they do know. I sit there and talk to them about it. Plus, they hear stories. They hear a lot of stories from other people and be like, "Oh man, your dad was this. Your dad did this. Your dad did this. Oh, I should hang out with your daddy." And we should do it, just so they should hear them stories, and I should tell them things and all that. And some of them look at me right now and be like, "For real, Dad? You did that? You did? I couldn't believe it."
I got to ask you this though: a guy that you probably mugged or robbed or did something wrong to, and they see you on the street, and how do you convince that person that you're a changed man? What do they say when they see you? Are they afraid of you? Or they say, "James, you're the one who robbed me, or you did me wrong. Why should I even have a conversation with you?"
Well, and I had that too. Some of the guys say like, "Man, we ain't as scared of you no more. We love what you're doing right now, even though you robbed us and had us tied up and all that. But that was a part of the game that we was in back then. Things can happen when you were doing dirty things. So, but they so proud and they buy my products and all that. They like, man, we love what you do, period. And some of the guys, don't matter what I come out with, they buy and support me because they knew the kind of rocky road. That's just like you seeing a person just doing everything and just terrorizing the city. And this person just, years later flipping around and be like, he the mayor now? I knew this guy when he was such and such and all that, So that's the part right there. Just like a lot of people order stuff from me online, over the phone. And one lady told me this. She said, years ago, I said, I would never ever give my credit card number to you over the phone, period. We didn't even like you. They didn't want you around. But she said, hey, I know you changed. She said, I never, ever thought in my life that I was going to give a credit card number to you over the phone.
Well, what is it about you that they see the change? Because obviously, do you dress differently? Do you speak differently? What is it? You drive a nicer car? How do they know it's not from illicit gains?
Well, because they see the information I'm keep on putting out there, and I'm dedicated, I'm staying consistent at it. So they see that change and stuff like that, and they see.
Yeah, but how do they know it's not another con game?
Because it's been going on for years. It took a while before they believe it was no con game. I had to do it for several years. They'd be like, okay, he on the right path. He really did change. They keep on seeing me doing that and getting greater in what I'm doing. And they don't see no.
I mean, do they see you walking around with a Bible or a Quran or what?
No, they don't see me walking around that. But every time I go around people, I talk to people. Like preaching. I sound like a preacher, but I be preaching about, hey, you can do anything that you want. Just like I go in other people's businesses and stuff like that. I can look at their business and whatever and show them how they can upgrade their business. They could do this and do that, and let you know that you're a better person. You can go ahead and do this. So, and I talk to people every day.
Now the documentary. Let's talk, because you've done several documentaries, right?
Right.
Are they on DVDs? Are they on cable TV? Where do they end up?
Well, you go to YouTube's even watching. You go to James Hickman TV on YouTube. It's called James Hickman TV. Or you could go to my I got an app, it's a 2014 app. It's called Black History 2014 Calendar. That's the name of the app. And you can get to see all kind of stuff, history through there. Get to see all my documentaries. You can order stuff. And one thing about it, I was telling you, I got a special for all the listeners out there, too, on my new book, Motivation. You even could go to my website and download my book. It's a 300-page book for $1.99. $1.99.
$1.99 for a book.
For a book. And through this book is unusual. It's a different type of book. It ain't the type of book you're going to go to Barnes & Noble and nothing and find. I put a little bit of everything. I broke it down easy and simple where you can go get your EIN number, go get your tax ID number. The book teaches you how to go do a grant, proposal, business plan. The book even show you how to publish your book in 90 days, all the ins and outs. So I'm giving you the same resource that I got over the years that I learned. The people that I deal with is inside this book. Even, got all the garment districts. Like, if you want to open up a store and stuff like that, you can look in back of the book and find out the wholesale spots where you go get the products and stuff at. And I tell people, you got to walk out on faith. You got to walk out on faith, and it can happen. You just got to do it. You just can't complain. I said, well, some people are, well, I don't got the money to do this and all that. And this, I said, no, you do it piece by piece and piece by step. Do you got $200,000 open this business? No, but that's why you do it by step. You start dealing with your friends and people start, and you turn that into a business on anything that you do. If you go make money for somebody else, you can make money for your own stuff. You just got to get up and be dedicated and go hard at what you do.
So many people right now listening to 21 minutes after the hour, and they're going to work or coming from work, and they're hearing this conversation, and they're thinking they're working for somebody. But you say that all the people that are listening to you now who are going to work for somebody, they can do work, make that money for themselves. What do they need to make that big change?
Well, the big change, you could be working for, just like I just talked to my cousin. He's a chemist. So he was tired of I'm tired of, really working for a person. I could do this stuff on myself. So I talked him into becoming an independent contractor. He said, well, how can I become an independent contractor? You're a hot commodity. They need you. So you could be your own boss on that and just be in. And I showed him how to do the whole paperwork and do this and, his company and stuff like that. Register the company, put his name on file with the state and all that, and be registered and go in as an independent contractor. And that worked, and he did. And he said that was one of the best information that he ever heard. And he said people never even told him, because he know other people's independent contractor, but they didn't tell him how to get into the business.
All right, hold that thought right there, because we got to step aside for a couple of moments, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation. And folks, you too can join the conversation if you want. Just reach out to us. It's really easy. It's toll free. It's nationwide. 800-450-7876. Take your calls next. As the big show rolls on from the capital city on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
What's wrong, Tina? Where are you coming from?
I am just coming from the dealership, getting my Mercedes-Benz service. Do you know it cost me $500?
$500? Girl, you should have gone to Magic Benz in Hyattsville. Their A services are only $250, and B services start at just $250. They are my premier specialists and have up to 40% off dealer prices and 100% satisfaction guarantee.
But how did I miss this?
But there's more. They offer professional services, tire replacement, balance and rotation, engine cooling system flush, body work for all Mercedes, and more. Their oil changes are only $99.
Michelle, say no more. What's their info?
It's Magic Benz at 4716 Baltimore Avenue, Hyattsville, Maryland. Their number is 301-985-2676, or go to their website at magicbenzservice.com. Thank me later.
No, I am thanking you now.
Choose your best big deal at the Gear Up for Fall sales event. 0% 60-month financing or cash off on select John Deere tractors, from one family to 155 horsepower 6 Series utility tractors. Gear up and save with John Deere today. Offer ends October 30th, 2015, subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Visit New Virginia Tractor at one of our 6 convenient locations and find us online at vatractor.com. For more information, search myjohndeeredealer.com.
We're
The bad news. Here in the richest country on earth, almost 50 million Americans, 1 in 6, suffer in poverty. They go hungry, have no shelter, need basic medical care. The good news, 5 in 6 of us are not in poverty. You can help today. Please go online right now to help with this injustice at takingittothestreets.net. 100% of your donation will reach your neighbor in need. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Go to takingittothestreets.net.
Real Talk Radio in the AM.
The #1 morning show. #1 on everybody list.
Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for staying with us. And our guest, motivational speaker and business consultant. His name is James Hickman. He started from humble beginnings, actually. And now he's very, very successful at just about anything he's done. If you have a Black History calendar, you see a Black History calendar, it's probably one of his. He's done several of the best-selling Black History calendars on his list, as well as best-selling books as well. And now he's moving into documentaries. And I know you want to move on to doing a game show or something. What else do you have in the plan? How do things, how do you come up with all these different ideas?
Well, they just come into everything starts off with a thought. Then you got to put it down. I know the format. I know how to put everything together, and I know the business side of it. And I let people know everything I do on history, nothing I sell is over $10. Nothing over $10. And I give you great education, beautiful and great quality.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get, when did it change from getting high? The first thought would be getting high, and the first thought in your mind is how to do something business-wise.
Well, back when I was getting high, I was always business, but not this type of business. It was illegal business. Just doing illegal business, and I said to myself, I could flip this stuff around. I could flip it around. I just was never taught how to flip it around or taught how to go into positive business, because everybody I hung around was just like me. Out there hustling, selling drugs, robbing, stealing, and doing all that. So I never had nothing, and other positive folks, they want us type of people around, and we didn't want to be around them type of people at the time. And in the places that I lived at, they just never taught us that.
All right. 800-450-7876. Tyrone in D.C. wants to speak to you. Tyrone, you're on with James Hickman.
Good morning. Good morning to both of you all. Carl,
good morning to you, Tyrone.
This is a very great show, Carl. All your shows are great, but this is a really great show. First of all, I want to say a couple of things. First of all, when I get through, I'll get off there and take all the comments off the air. First of all, give your website address at least twice before you leave there, and a telephone number you can be reached. Now that I've done that, you can do anything if you believe in two sources. Father God is the first one, and yourself. And you, young man, I am very proud of you. Never met you, but I can hear in your voice, and you had a strong belief in you, and you had a strong belief somewhere in Father God, and the things that you are doing. It's a gift from Him, and you took that gift and you developed it, and you went with it. You didn't let anybody tell you that you couldn't. I'm sure people told you that you couldn't. You said they told you that you couldn't, but you didn't believe that. You didn't believe in them. You believed in a power higher than yourself, and then you believed in yourself, and you made it happen. And I am grateful and thankful for someone like you. And Carl, keep up the good work, and please give your website address twice and your phone number. Thank you for taking my call. Have a blessed and safe week.
Thanks, Tyrone. James, you want to give that information now?
Yes, my website is www.bentpublishing.com, BENT publishing.com. And you can reach me at 404-246-6496. 404-246-6496. 6496.
All right. Let me ask you this. Do you think anybody can achieve what you've achieved? Do you think anybody out there who really wants you like you wanted it and really struggling, they probably did the things that you did, the drugs, the robbing, go to jail. Do you think anybody, do you think every single person who's been down that road can turn their lives around and be as successful as you are?
Oh, yes, they can. They can. Living proof right there. You see it in the pudding. But no, at first, I never thought my life could end up being like this neither. That could go, teaching education from not going from the third grade to teaching education. I never thought in a lifetime I could do that. But anybody, they can do it because, like I was telling you, Carl, everybody got a different skill, and they just got to focus on it. People selling things and doing stuff as it is, but they don't know that's a business. And they just got to, you got to walk out on faith and stuff like that, and believe in what you do, If you believe you can see it, you can do it, because there's nothing impossible. Just like you ride down these streets, you look to your left, you look to your right, you see these different businesses and stuff like that. What makes some people different and stuff like that? You could do the same thing. You got to start off small to see how you like it and all that till you find your niche, and just go in at it, man. Go in at it, and you treat people how you want to be treated on business and stuff like that. People going to start dealing with you. Just like if you've been through a lot of stuff, a lot of trouble, and you terrorize the city and town, you need to move and start a whole new life where people don't know you at.
All right. 800-450-7876. Somebody who knows you on line 2. Farad is calling us from the ATL. Farad, you're on with James Hickman.
Yes, sir. How are you?
We're good.
Great. Yeah, man, I want to applaud Mr. Hickman, man. I think he's a true trooper. And what he's doing in this time of day is so necessary. He's bringing Black history back to the forefront, and I think our youth need it. And I'm very proud of him and grateful that he's still fighting that battle and that struggle to keep educating our youth, so hopefully they will understand what their forefathers went through as far as the struggle that they went through to give them certain liberties. And hopefully these young men will take heed to that and realize that some of the things that they do now just aren't respectful to the forefathers of the past. And Mr. Hickman is one of the few that I even know about that is continuing our education of understanding our people.
Well, let me ask you this then. What's so special about Mr. Hickman? Because you say you know him, and we've got a lot of young people in our communities terrorizing our communities. Their parents are afraid of them. The elderly people in the communities are afraid of them. But it seems like he knows how to resonate them. What does he say that you think that he says that will turn some of these young people around?
Well, it's his thought pattern, sir. He truly believes and loves his people, and it shows through his work. And what happens is that I think this generation has lost understanding and don't really understand what our forefathers went through. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, but he makes sure that we do know. He's the one that's keeping Black history alive in the school system. He's the one that continues to put positive imagery in our communities. And with that being said, that should be applauded. We should support this man from every perspective, because we just don't have that. I don't know anybody else like Mr. Hickman that's doing it at this level and doing it with such high quality. The visual positive imagery that he's showing the world continuously. I just pray that certain kids will receive his information in their hand and make a change and realize that, I can't do this. I can't wear my clothes sagging, and my forefathers walked down picket lines for me to even give me liberties.
Right. Farad, thank you. We got to cut you loose because we have we got a news update for our folks in the DMV. 800-450-7876. You too can join the conversation with James Hickman. We'll take your calls after this news update on 1450. WOL, where information is power.
This report brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Each day, more than 1.6 million Americans suffer with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help and to find cures at ccfa.org. Mayor Bowser says the city is moving to bring stability and more services to D.C.'s high-crime neighborhoods.
The extra attention that MPD will give, the U.S. Attorney and C. Sosa will give to gun offenders.
Bowser says, for one thing, more police will be on D.C. streets to target repeat violent offenders. Former Maryland Episcopal Bishop Heather Cook has pleaded guilty in a hit-and-run crash that killed a man on a bicycle in Baltimore. It's on Palermo. Cook yesterday admitting to vehicular manslaughter, DUI, texting while driving, and leaving the scene of the crash last December. She could get 10 years in prison when she's sentenced next month. Baltimore has reached a $6.4 million wrongful death settlement with the family of Freddie Gray.
The Baltimore Board of Estimates is set to consider the deal on Wednesday. Under the agreement, the city would pay $2.8 million this year and $3.6 million next year. It would put an end to all civil claims related to Gray's arrest and death in police custody back in April. The settlement comes as Baltimore prepares for the trials of the 6 city police officers accused in Gray's death. In a statement, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake said the proposed settlement should not be interpreted as a judgment on the guilt or innocence of the officers. The mayor says the settlement is being proposed solely because it's in the best interest of the city. Rick Hoschel, Baltimore.
Baltimore's police union is urging the Board of Estimates to reject the settlement when the board meets today. FOP President Gene Ryan calls the proposal obscene and ridiculous. The Mets rallied with 6 runs in the 7th inning to beat the Nationals 8-7. The Orioles beat the Yankees 2-1. This report brought to you by the American Association for Cancer Research, finding cures together. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org. I'm John Lewis. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to newsone.com.
Good morning. WOL traffic brought to you this time around by Horseshoe Casino, Baltimore. We've got that closure, right lane blocked, that is Branch Avenue, traveling southbound as you approach Surratt's Road. Northbound Branch Avenue, heavy and slow from the 301 interchange in Clinton as you head in toward Camp Springs. Looking pretty good, though, on the northbound side of 210 Indian Head Highway. You've got your delays in place starting in Fort Washington, but all of your travel lanes are open. Horseshoe Baltimore, activate your daily free entry for the ultimate jackpot drawing. Know when to stop before you start, and please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. The WOL forecast for today, partly cloudy skies with a chance of thunderstorms. High 93, low 72. 75 degrees in Washington. This report brought to you by Destination Gettysburg. Plan a delicious weekend in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Enter a craft brew tasting. Stop by the farm markets. Take a food tour, winery tour, and a battlefield tour. Visit destination-gettysburg.com. I'm Angela Foster, News Talk 1450 WOLAM, where information is power.
Your voice can now be heard. Y'all ready? Yeah. With Carl Nelson weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for staying with us. And guest James Hickman, as I mentioned, he's a motivational speaker, a business consultant, and started off very humbly, modest beginnings. He got dumped out of school in the 3rd grade. Wow. 800-450-7876. Been in and out of prisons as well. And now he's got a publishing empire. And he does calendars, Black History calendars. He does documentaries, and moving on into the game show world. We'll talk about that in a moment. But let's go to line 3. Kenny's waiting for you in Maryland. Kenny, you're on with James Hickman.
Hey, okay, Brother Carlton. Mr. Hickman, I want to congratulate you, man, that you went through the fire. You had molded and folded yourself into an ultimate man that most men need to listen to. These young folks need to listen to what you've been through and go through the fire and mold themselves to where they need to be. I did the same thing. I had to leave and disappear and leave all my friends alone. Then I came back as a new person, and those some of the folks that I knew, they picked themselves up out of staff, so they see what I've done. So I want to pass the power on to you, man. You keep on doing what you're doing, and I'm there to support you 100%. I'm going to go to your website, and we'll get some of your books, man, and pass them off to the youngsters out here, man. And especially your Black History photos, man, that you got going out there.
Kenny, before you go, let me ask you this. You said you went through the same situation that Mr. Hickman. Did you have to leave too?
I had to leave too, man. I'm going to tell you what saved me for real. And some of these young youths' life, man, you're going to run your crossroads. You're going to meet some great men in your life. So when you meet certain people, they're going to tell you certain things. They told me, okay, man, you're crazy, you're wild, man. I want to see you make it before I die. So when I got in trouble, it stayed in my head and it resonated with me, and that changed my life. Just by meeting and listening to other great men.
All right, man. Kenny, thanks for your call. And good. And stay on the right track, man. Thank you. And that's why we actually doing this with Mr. Hickman, because somebody out there may think they can't do it, they can't make it. The odds are against them. You can't be more odds against you than James Hickman. You get kicked out of school in the 3rd grade. Just think about that. You're in and out of prison, robbing people. And he admits it, because a lot of people try, when they do this kind of stuff, they try to hide it from people. But James Hickman, he tells you this is where he's coming from, because he's reached he's pretty successful at what he does now. And one of our callers tweeted that the reason she thinks you're so successful, Mr. Hickman, is that you paid forward, that you're always giving back. Your thoughts?
Yes. And that's what I always do, give back to people and talk to people, and because we all people, and so I know what to look for. So for me going through these struggles, I know what's back there already. So I'm going forward. So I know what to get me in trouble, what's not to get me in trouble and do bad things. So I learned that part right there, and how to be humble and go through life. A lot of people, I get turned down all the time. All the time. Some places, they hunt me down for years. I come back every 6 months. Oh, I got a new product for you right here. I think this will go good with your store. But it ain't a good time. Then I leave. I keep on coming back, and I tell them, y'all going to see me again. Y'all going to deal with me. Y'all going to deal with me. And I keep on coming back, keep on. They keep on turning me down. They let me in. They be like, this man staying consistent. And a lot of people thought I was just a fly-by-night. Okay, he did a project. He took off. And we ain't gonna hear from him, but I kept on going, kept on going. I get turned down, rejections and all that. And a lot of people putting this stuff together. I used to go around to different cities and every, different events, all the way through the chilling circuit, different events all around the country. And people, every day I got to talk to people, I get turned down. Some people say, yeah, this and all that. And just keep it going. I never let that break my spirit, because I know people going to say yes and no. They're going to say yes and no, but don't take that. Just keep on going. Just keep on going, to make a difference.
But what keeps you going? Because, one of the things that people have a hard time dealing with is rejection. You get rejected and you run off and hide in a corner for a while because, your self-esteem has been knocked down. It takes you a while to build it back up. But you seem like you just brush it off. How do you do that?
Well, because I know I can't go get no regular job, without getting more than $7, $8 an hour. So I know that, they're going to always want to use that felony against me. So I got to keep going. I got to keep going. And, people, I understand people going to tell me yes and no. And so that's the part.
But more people are going to tell you no, just because you're a convicted felon.
Yes, they is. And I know I did good product and good work, and it speaks for itself, So I know people going to tell me, and some people always support me. And while I'm at these different events all around the country, people be like, oh, I got your product before. You got anything else new out? Yeah, I spreaded this, I spreaded that, This empire is a pretty major empire. And doing it real.
They don't hold the past against you, though. Is that what you're saying? They don't. They look beyond the past, because you're not. I don't hear that Bible thumping person or the Quran spouting person, quoting verses from either of those books. But I see it just like a real brother. But you still say that religion is a major part of your success.
Yes, it is. And I'm a neutral guy type. I kick it with everybody. It ain't like, oh, I want to kick with that person because that person is this religion, he's a Muslim, that person a Christian. No, that person Jehovah's Witness. I kick it with everybody. I never meet a stranger. I kick it with everybody. And by me getting educated and reading these books and writing books, now I can sit down and have a conversation with anybody. At first, I could never have no conversation because it was over my head. I don't know what you're talking about. But now I get a chance to lead the conversation and what I do and all that. So that's a great, I thank God every day, giving me a chance to do that, and be the top of my field.
All right. 800-450-7876, about 22 minutes from the top of the hour. Let's go to Lawrence in Arlington, Texas. Lawrence, you're on with James Hickman.
Brother James Hickman. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you too, my brother.
Hey, you know what? I am so proud, so impressed that Carl got you on. You know, I hear a lot of black brothers and sisters, you know, get on Carl's show and they bring knowledge and they speak truth. But, you know, very few of them can go where you can go because you done been there, you know. And I can identify with you because the reason why I called, I wanted to answer Carl's question. You know, he asked, you know, why do you resonate with people and why these young brothers and sisters can resonate with you. And I want you to tell me if I got it correct. They can resonate with you because you done been there. You know, it's an old saying. You done been to see the elephant. You know what it feels.
All right, Lawrence, hold that thought right there. I'll let you finish your question on the other side because we've got to step aside for a couple of announcements. Folks, you two can get in on this conversation with James Hickman. You've heard his story. 800-450-7876. Your call's next as the big show rolls on from 1450 WOL, where information is power.
This is Barbara Arnwine. Be sure to tune in to Igniting Change every Tuesday from noon to 1 on WOL 1450 AM. I will provide provocative and empowering information to ignite change and inspire action in achieving racial justice and equality. It really is up to all of us to be and to ignite the change that we so desperately want to see in our neighborhoods, communities, our cities, our states, our nation, and the world. Each week, I want you to join me and my special guests to learn how your activism matters in realizing a more just and equal society for all. Ignite change with me every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. Together, we can make a difference. Visit barbaraarnwine.com for more information.
This is a special news alert to consumers who owe back taxes to the IRS.
Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers on back taxes, resulting in back taxes reduced by thousands of dollars. An open phone line has been established by Federal Tax Relief for consumers to call and see if you qualify for this reduction. To ensure your financial stability during this decline in the economy, take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call 1-800-210-1493. That's 1-800-210-1493. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, there's no need to fear anymore. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers, resulting in tax debts reduced by thousands of dollars. For your free information and to see if you qualify for your reduction, call the Federal Tax Relief Hotline, 1-800-210-1493, 1-800-210-1493. That's 1-800-210-1493.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Real Talk Radio in the AM. Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
Thank you for staying with us. Just want to remind you, coming up later this morning, we're going to be speaking with the man with a plan. That's what I call him, Dr. Claude Anderson. His latest book is called Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America. We're going to talk about the presidential elections and why Donald Trump is leading the Republican race with a lot of support. Well, not a lot. Well, 25%. Well, that's a lot for Donald Trump from the black community, specifically just really on one issue. We'll discuss that issue with Dr. Anderson. But let's go back to our guest, James Hickman, business consultant and also motivational speaker. James, well, let's go back to Lawrence. Lawrence was asking you a question. Lawrence?
Hey, Brother James,
you know, when Carl put that question, you know, to me, it was real easy for me to connect and understand why brothers and sisters, young brothers and sisters, can relate to you. Because I can relate to you, and I'm 58. Young brothers and sisters relate to me because I know what it is to go hungry. I know what it is not to have a place to stay. I know what it is to have your mother and father ostracize you and turn their back on you for no other reason that they are confused and that they have issues, not because of nothing. I know what it is to be done dirty, abused. When you have been in that position in life and you go out here and you see other people who are in that position, that right there is a bond that is not broken. You connect with people through your pain, through your hardship, through all the trials and tribulations you've been through. People see it in your eyes. People hear it in your voice. People know that you're going and coming from a place of reality. And it's scary to some people because, and Brother James, tell me if I'm not correct, some of the places where you've been, some of the things that you did and seen, people who have a silver spoon in their mouth are fearful of what you say and what they see in you. Is that not correct?
No, I mean, you totally correct. And there's a lot, you know, it's like a person seeing a little bit of everything. So that's how I know how to go into the situation. You know, we grew up in the project, and some people are like, well, you still go to the hood, you do this and all that. I said, shit, I mean, what's the difference? These are my peoples. I'm that person. I'm that person right there. Every time I look at a kid, I mean, that's me. That was me. So why would I be scared to go back into any neighborhood, any project, and hang out? The reason, I mean, I do that because I'm a people.
And you know what, brother?
Anywhere I go.
Check this out. Minister Farrakhan spoke in Benton Harbor, Michigan in 2012. They gave him the keys to the city. I was there. And Carl, you know GW on the Hill. You know Brother GW. You know, I was talking on his radio show when Minister Farrakhan was in there. And I had an interaction with the Fruit of Islam. And these brothers, you know, by me being a Black Christian nationalist, a Maccabee, part of the security force of the Black Christian Nationalist Church, I understand their job and I understand what their role is. These brothers had some interaction with me that I didn't appreciate. I had to critique these brothers, and these brothers bonded with me after I put it to them real. You know, I said, look, there's no daylight between Minister Farrakhan and me. I'll give my life for that brother, and I'm not a Muslim. But you brothers will respect me. I am a warrior, just like you. You will give me the respect that's due me, because if you don't give me the respect that's due me, warriors go to war, and when we go to war, people die. I reiterated that to these brothers, and they understood it, and then they bonded with me. And I explained to them, I can walk in New York, Chicago, Detroit, anywhere, and not be afraid. I don't fear my people. I have love in my heart for my people, but my people will not violate me. These brothers understood it. We shook hands, hugged, and we walked away as brothers, as friends. And I showed my little son, I said, you see, as Black people, we're supposed to have empathy and love in our heart for each other, and we're not supposed to fear each other. Fear is what divides us, and fear is what keeps us at each other's throat. And when I hear brothers like you talk, I have nothing but mad love in my heart for you. And this is what I was trying to explain to another brother, James. Can you expound on this? These brothers in our community who are educated, the educated elite, they have not been where you have been, where I have been. They don't understand what the struggle is. They understand it from an intellectual concept, but they don't understand it from a human concept, a bread in your mouth concept that you get, that I get. Could you explain to Carl and the listening audience what these educated brothers need to do in order to connect with these brothers and sisters on the street? Because these brothers and sisters on the street.
All right, let's give him a chance to respond. Thanks, Lawrence. Thanks for your call. James?
Thank you, Carl.
But the problem I get with a lot of the educational brothers and stuff like that, they won't support me. They won't. I ain't calling put no names out there, but they won't support me at all.
Why?
And stuff like that, you know. They just don't, because I'm a different type of person, and I'll be like, hey, I ain't coming to take nothing from you, and nothing like that, just to add to it. and they won't. You know, I'm in a city like Atlanta. You know, it's a lot of prominent black people here at all. You know, but they won't.
So why? I'm kind of confused why they won't support you. Is it they feel they're better than you, or what is it?
I don't know. I don't know because I speak or be straight up or straightforward, keep it 100. But they don't deal with me like that. You know, the people that support me is the people is doing more, struggling and making up on the $20,000 a year. Them a lot of my supporters and stuff like this. The street people is my supporters. And they just won't, you know. I be trying to set up meetings with people and stuff like that to talk, because I see other things, be like, hey, okay, y'all got a platform, you have to use this as a platform, but they don't, you know, they never give me time of the day. But I still keep them coming back to them. Keeps on.
And I'm trying to figure out why, because you were talking about basically the bourgeoisie, the people that have made it, and why they you know, why they keep you at arm's length. Do they know that your history? Do they know your story?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I sit there and talk to them all the time, but they just don't let a person in. Won't purchase stuff at all. If they did, they ain't got it from me. You know, they just don't. And Atlanta's a big.
And do they ever give you a reason why?
No, I don't know if I'm a threat to them or not. I don't know. We just never connected like that. You know, I always wanted to, but they never. You know, they always turned me down. I don't know if I was too ghetto, too hood, or what. You know, or I'm not like them. So I never got let in. So a lot of
but does that stop you when you get that rejection from them, especially them? You know, the bourgeoisie. The well-educated, the better off than you are. Does that bother you at all? To be real now, does that bother you?
Well, it kind of bothers me because they look at me different, like, oh, he's just a little street seller and selling stuff like that. They don't even know I'm living good. I own everything. I don't got house payments, car payments, and stuff like that. You know, but I work hard. I get up every morning just like the rent do. Every morning and just go to schools and talk. I know how to walk into school superintendent's office, sit down and hold a conversation. Years ago, I couldn't even do that. And I just tell a lot of people, just, you know, get together. We're a powerful nation. Just each one teach one, you know, spread the word, turn a person on to something, you know, help a person out. You know, I tell people just like, you don't have to give me no money at all, man. Just let people know about my product. I create my own money and wealth. You know, I ain't never had a credit card. And that sounds crazy. I'm telling people I never had a credit card, never had a loan. None of that. The reason why, because I've been rejected. And after I be rejected like that, I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to let this stop me right here. I'm not going to let this stop me. And I'm going to go ahead hard, you know, by any means necessary. I'm going in there hard and get what I'm supposed to get and work hard.
Wait, so you telling me you're a successful business person, you've never had a credit card, you never had credit, and yet you're...
Nah.
Well, hold that thought right there, because we have we got a traffic update coming up with Angela. Wow. 800-450-7876. His name is James Hickman. He's a business consultant. He's also a motivational speaker. We take your phone calls after this traffic and weather update right here on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Morning, WOL traffic brought to you by Food Lion. Crash cleanup in Southern Maryland. Southern Maryland Boulevard closed on the northbound side as you travel near Bayfront Road. Be prepared coming in through that stretch. Baltimore-Washington Parkway, no closures to report, just heavy delays from 198 as you make your trip into Greenbelt, and then from the Capitol Beltway. It is slow all the way to the 50-295 split. Stay on budget without sacrificing quality with Food Lion brand products. They're affordable and easy to trust with a double your money back guarantee. Life's better with the Lion. Food Lion. The WOL forecast for today, partly cloudy skies, a chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 72. Our high today, 93 degrees. We're at 75 degrees in D.C. This report brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. Winston Churchill's words stirred his country in the face of defeat. Today, they inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. I'm Angela Foster, 1450 WOLAM News Talk, where information is power.
Have lunch every Friday at 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. with Law, Money, and You right here on WOL 1450 AM. Law impacts every part of your life. Money is a part of your everyday life, and it's all about you. Every Friday, you will learn about the laws that will help you gain and protect your money while improving you and your family's life. It's all about you understanding how the law gives you asset protection to leave a legacy, improve your credit, your retirement plan, college funding, and everyday money management. The knowledge of the law and money is fun, but having it and using it wisely is even more fun. The fun starts every Friday right here on WOL, beginning at 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. with your host, Raymond Starks, and attorney Marie Farrow. It's Law, Money, and You, a show designed with you in mind, so be sure to tune in this and every Friday at 12:30 p.m. right here on News Talk 1450 WOL, where information is power. Don't miss this Friday's broadcast.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats? Oh, we're sitting right around the corner.
Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo! Yeah!
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
WOL Washington, WPRS HD2 Waldorf, WKYS HD2 Washington, WMMJ HD2 Bethesda, a Radio 1 station, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
Well, it's 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
Thank you for staying with us, folks. Momentarily, we'll be speaking with Dr. Claude Anderson. I like to call him the man with a plan, but right now we're with James Hickman. James is a business consultant and motivational speaker. He's also going to be Radio 1's Black History Month special person for 2016. Ms. Hughes, the founder of the company, heard his story, and she says our people need to hear his story because it's just incredible what James Hickman went through. That's why he's on the radio this morning. Let's go to line 2. Ramsey's joined us from D.C. Ramsey, you're on with James Hickman.
James? Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Good morning, Colin, Brother James. I want to answer.
Good morning.
I want to answer the question as to why the black elite won't support you. But first, let me make sure I got your information right. That's 401-246-6496. And
yeah, 404-246-6496.
Okay, all right. And that's www.bent.com.
Well, BENTpublishing.com.
Okay, all right. Okay.
BENTpublishing.com.
Okay, I'll definitely be in contact with you. Okay. Look, the reason they won't get in contact, won't support you, is because you're not a black Freemason, or you don't belong to one of these weak fraternities or sororities that these elite go to college and join, and that's designed to keep us divided. You know, and so that's why they won't support you, because you're not one of them. You've been through where I've been through. I'm 74 years old. I first got locked up in 1949 right here in Washington, D.C. I've done over 27 of those 74 years in and out of prison, and I can relate to everything you're saying. And see, the people that the elite, they have not had the luxury of going to prison and having the time to think and reflect on realize that you're not a criminal. You're a victim of a system that's rigged against you. That's why you went to prison. That's why everything that happened to you in life, that everything happened to anybody in life, is not because you're a criminal. It's because of the system. And the system is the same thing. It is responsible for you being in prison, me being in prison, poverty, racism, domestic disturbance. Everything is because of the system. And don't say that you can't blame nobody for our conditions. No, we can't blame nobody, but we can blame this racist, sexist, evil, wicked capitalist system. And until we get rid of this wicked, evil, racist capitalist system, we will never get rid of racism and white supremacy. And that's what. All right,
Ramsey, I think we got it. It got you. You're starting to repeat yourself. Thank you for your call, because we got Dr. Anderson standing by. We got another call before we get to Dr. Anderson on line 4. Chris in New York. Chris, you're on with James.
Yeah, how you doing? I just did all this ferocious things to us, right? But yet at the end of the day, they flip the script where they're the angels and we're the devils. And what I mean by that, when I'm saying that, is that where you're coming from, I see the value in that of the character, like God puts on through fire to build us that. There's a rare quality to that in that. It's like Joseph with the pharaohs. When you bring someone with that and then you put them on top, you get a better product out of that, rather than going through the bourgeoisies. I know you can go through the schooling and stuff like that, but there's an education that's taught through life experience, which is of value, which needs to be in the leadership roles in our black community. And I think,
Chris, we're running out of time, but thank you. I want to ask James this question. Do you think it's an educational thing, James? Why the bourgeoisie, the well-off blacks, reject you?
Can you repeat that again?
Do you think it's an educational issue? Do you think they feel that because they're more sophisticated than you are, that's why they don't come support you?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons right there that they don't support. Because like the brothers just was on the phone two callers ago. They think, because I'm not like them, because they ain't went to, prison. They don't have to go to prison and stuff like that, but they look, well, how did he raise up and do this, and he don't got no other educational background and stuff like that, But I educated my own stuff by reading it and writing and later on in life and all that. And I know I wanted better in life and all that. And I see them doing things, and I know that I could do it better, even though they might went to school for 4 years, 8 years and stuff like that, And that's the part right there, fear a person, that a person ain't went past the 3rd grade, ain't been to junior high or high school and stuff like that. I got more letters from the president than probably anybody. Him and Michelle, they write me letters all the time on the stuff that I do in education and stuff like that, And I look back and that keeps me going on a lot of things, period, on the education part. So I look at myself as a street educator.
And you've obviously you're very good at it.
Quick question. How does he make a carbon copy of himself with the community out here now? How do we make a structure to produce more people like him? Well, how to produce? It's a lot of people just need that chance, and they already doing it in their community. So like we need everybody in every community to help rise up and stand out. They call each one teach one. But a lot of people get they get real big and forget all about the people that they can help bring up. And some people don't have to give people money and stuff like that. You just give them some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and show them this way right here at the cut, be like, okay, this is a great way right here. Let me see you on this show or whatever. And you make a platform for yourself. It ain't always like, I got to dump this money into that.
I see what, James, we're out of time. We got Dr. Anderson standing by. But before we let you go, give out your information. How can people reach you on your phone number again?
Okay, my phone number is 40. Well, by the way, tell Dr. Anderson I love him. I sold a lot of his books through my bookstores. And my website is www.bentpublishing, BENT and the phone number to reach me at is 404-246-6496.
All right, hang on a second. I'll let you tell Dr. Anderson that yourself. Let's bring in Dr. Anderson now, the man with the plan, Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth. Dr. Anderson, welcome back to WOL Radio.